Okay, so I want to talk about stupid things that people tell you to do in golf for no reason whatsoever. And number one, in my opinion, is they tell you you want to swing in a circle or you want to swing in an arc. If somebody can tell me how you can use a golf club to hit a golf ball without swinging on an arc, I'd like to know what it is. I mean, if you use it like shuffleboard, maybe you could just push it a couple feet forward. But there's not a single way that you can hit a golf ball with a golf club efficiently without it being on an arc. And my point is that by telling people to swing on an arc or swing in a circle, now they're trying to do it. Well, you can't stop doing that no matter what you do. So why would you ever need to try to do something that you can't not do, if that makes sense? And the problem is that when people think, oh, I want to swing on an arc or I want to swing in a circle, they always shorten the radius of it. So it's always holding their hands inward and trying to make sure that they do it on an arc, as if they could do it any other way. It makes no sense at all. So that's one. The second one is people who try to hit the ball upward. Okay, if you think about it, I want to hit the ball toward the pin. The pin's on the ground and I'm on the ground. So the straightest point from point A to point B is straight at it. Well, why would you ever want to hit the ball that way, upward, if your intention is to hit the ball from point A to point B, straight? And now if you think about it, it's silly because the loft that is built into the clubs is put there to prevent the ball from going too far, not to make the ball go farther, but to prevent it. Because you've got a 60-degree wedge, you can hit that thing as hard as you can, and it's probably not going any farther than, say, 105. So you're still trying to hit the ball straight that way, right along the ground, but the loft of the club sends it so much up that way that it comes down where you imagine or where you've figured out that it should. So now, I mean, if that doesn't make you think, why would I ever try to hit the ball upward? I mean, unless you have way too much club. Let's say you're hitting a 5-iron and you only want it to go 100 yards. Well, now maybe you'd want to hit it upward because you're going to add loft. But other than that, there is no reason to hit the ball upward. The loft is built into the club to prevent the ball from going too far, not to make it go farther. Um, so that's my two stupid things about golf, at least for this moment. Um, oh, let's talk about the one other thing here. And anything we learn how to do in golf, uh, we play decently, and then let's say you found something that works, like the Holy Grail, and it works fantastically. So what do? You figure out, oh, this works great. And then what's next? You go, oh, well, maybe if I do more of it, I can make it work even better. So that's our human nature. We always try to push the limit of doing something, and in so doing, we usually break it. And a lot of times, once it's broken, you kind of just tend to give up on it. You go, oh, it fucking doesn't work anymore. Whoops, sorry, excuse me. But it doesn't work anymore. And it's not that it doesn't work anymore. It's that you overdid it so ridiculously that you broke it. Which is why the Holy Grail of golf works so well. Is you meet that imaginary ball, maybe a foot out from your grip, and when you've got it in the right spot, you don't have to swing hard, and that ball will fly off of that club like you have never seen. Okay, so maybe one more. You cannot control the club face as it impacts the ball. It's going way too fast. So the only thing we can do is prepare it to strike the ball, then let it strike the ball, and then we can regain control long after it's gone through the ball. But there's no point in that. All you can do is set it prior. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. Um, Set it prior to the strike, and then you've just got to let it freewheel through the ball. Um, so if you're trying to control the ball or the club head through the ball, most likely you will fail. Your arms and hands are going to be tense, and most likely you'll turn the club head over or do something silly. Um, so you've got to just learn how to let it fly. You shoot it that way, and the ball goes that way, and you just let it fly. And one more thing. The left arm is almost useless. It controls the club face, and it controls our distance to the ball. Other than that, it really doesn't add any power to the golf swing. Because if you think about it, now the sun's going down. If you think about it, if you try to add power with your left hand, the only way you can do it is to either break this wrist or break that elbow. And if you've done either one of those, pretty much both of them is going to happen. I mean, the left arm, it can't add power. It just can't. All the power is coming from your right side, and you're basically pulling the left arm out of its socket with the right hand. So when you get to the ball, if you try to add power with your left hand, this is going to bend, that bends, and what usually happens is it turns slightly, and that shuts that club face, and that's sending that ball going left. But if you just let it fly, relaxed, and let that arm turn over, that ball will go straight. Is that it? Okay, let's go one more. Why is it that we can swing the shaft or the point of the shaft maybe a foot out of the grip so well? And I think it's because beyond that point, the club is moving so fast, it's beyond our comprehension. And anything that's beyond our comprehension, much like, let's say, a person who's speaking a language that you're trying to learn, and they're rattling it off. Una cerveza para mí solamente, por favor. And you don't speak the language all that well, and you say, oh, I'm sorry, wait, can you slow down so that I can understand it? And that's exactly what happens in golf. Is you will slow down your swing so that you can understand what the club head is doing so that your brain can keep up, which is why we want to disregard that altogether. We don't want to slow that thing down. We just want to let it rip. Blind confidence through the ball. I mean, I was ripping drivers silly today. I had a par 5, and I nuked the ball. This is hole number 2. I almost drove number 1. Hole number 2, I forget what the length of the hole is, but it's par 5, and I had 153 yards in. Everybody around me, they barely got it to my drive with their second shot, and they're like, oh, wow. Why don't you send me your video? And I said, hey, I thought everybody in the club had access to the video, but they didn't. Okay, so I think that's it for this. Yeah, that's it for now. Okay.